Hi there and welcome to Web Design TV, brought to you by the makers of .NET Magazine. Now of course .NET is the best magazine if you're a web designer or web developer. I'm Paul Wyatt and today we're looking at quick and easy video in Flash CS3. Now video's changed quite a bit on the internet over the last few years. It has become a snap to integrate it into any web project. So you don't have to worry about lots and lots of complicated code in this project. There isn't any. It's all done through a component which we'll touch on a bit later. But in this tutorial we'll look at encoding video, trimming video, adding some effects and some masking to it as well. At the end of the tutorial you'll know all there is to know, or you need to know, about putting video into your own web pages via Flash. Now we'll need some video if we're going to work with video in this project. So let's just open this file up. It's a bit of motion graphics. Let's play it through. There we go. It's quite a large file. It's a QuickTime file, and it'd be interesting to see what Flash makes of it when it compresses it into Flash's native video format, which is called FLV, Flash Video. We'll have a look at the different types of FLV video a little bit later on. Now returning back to Flash, let's create a new layer and call it Video. Okay, and we'll increase the canvas size as well. 800 by 500, and let's make it black or dark grey. May need to rejig the size of that when we bring the video in. Just import our video, and we do that by choosing File, Import, Import Video. This will bring up the Import Video dialog box, and our first box there is for the file path. We select Browse, click that. It pops. You may need to go through to where your folder is. Mine's already selected, and choose the movie that you want to bring in. Now our file there is a QuickTime movie, but you can bring in, as well as QuickTime, MPEGs, AVIs, WMVs, and 3GP files. So let's just select our cubes.mov and click Open. We have the file selected, cubes.mov, as a file on our computer with a file path. So let's click Next. Now, deployment. Sounds a very harsh term, but deployment is how we want it to work from a web server, how we want it to be delivered, if you like. Now this file is quite small, or will be quite small when it's encoded. It's quite short in duration, so we're going to let it progressively download from a web server. That default choice there. What that means is the file will bit by bit download and play as you're watching it. You may get a lag in the progressive download as you're viewing the video. You wouldn't get that if it was streaming, or you wouldn't get it as much if it was streaming, if your video was hosted on a streaming server. Now the choices are as to whether or not to go with a streaming service. It all depends on how big that video is and how many people you think are going to be watching it at any one time. A small file like ours, you'll get away with it by it progressively downloading. Most home broadband connections, it will play absolutely fine. If you're trying to do that with an hour and a half of footage and you're hoping that it will progressively download, it will probably cause your viewers a bit of a headache, as it'll stutter and start a fair bit. If you are looking at streaming your own feature-length movies, you'll need to get in touch with the company that offers a streaming service, and they'll host your videos for you. So back to this deployment box, our choice is progressive download from a web server, and as it gives us a bit of information here on the right hand side. This deployment method requires Flash Player 7 or later. Now the boring stuff out of the way, let's go to the encoding window. As you can see, we've got a preview here of our video, and we've got a little scrub bar there, a little triangle. You click it, drag, you see. There's our video. Now editing in Flash is a bit limited, but if you've got maybe a leader tape at the start of your video, you know, like a countdown, just used for queuing it in on television or something like that, or something at the beginning or the end of a video, then it's great. But besides that, it's a little limited if you want to do any major edits to your work. You can trim by just clicking the little triangle there underneath the yellow one and bringing it in a little bit. See the top triangle that scrubs along has also changed. It's also moved in. And you can trim the end one doing the same thing. So yeah, it is limited, but it's useful if you do have stuff on either end of your video that you want to remove. It's a bit annoying that the preview doesn't include audio. That would be more useful to have sound on this. So usually at the beginning or the end of a video you have either a director saying action, or you have some unwanted background noise before the start of the action. So it's quite easy to trim either end there, but you just have to hazard a guess, and because there is no audio. Now there's different Flash video encoding profiles, and in the center here you'll see it defaults to Flash 8 medium quality at 400 kbps, which is kilobytes per second. Now I don't remember a time when I've not used this, since this version of Flash has been around, not used the medium quality setting, because the quality of the video is very, very good. Let's just drop it down. You've got different options there. Modem quality, low quality, DV small and DV large. As you can see with the kilobytes per second rate there, naturally the higher it is, the better quality video you're going to get. But I think the trade-off, I think medium quality will be absolutely perfect for what we want. You've always got to find a mid-ground for your audience. To go to one of those real high settings at 700 kilobytes per second, you know, maybe alienating someone who has a slower connection. So a mid-ground is good. Let's just look at some of these other options. Let's click the tabs here, video tab. Encode video, well, yes. Video codec to use, now there's two. Source and Spark is Flash Video Player 7 and below. Very good compressor, but the latest one is the Onto VP6, which, as well as being a very good compressor, it also enables you to encode an alpha channel by checking that little box there. Now this is great if you've done some filming against green screen, say, and you've removed the green screen in After Effects and have encoded the QuickTime Movie with an alpha channel, because by clicking that it'll remove it. So let's say for instance you could have a talking head, someone you'd filmed on green screen, you'd remove the green in After Effects, encoded an alpha channel, and by bringing it into Flash you'll retain that transparency. You'll be able to put a person's head onto a graphical Flash background simply by selecting Onto VP6 as your video codec and encoding an alpha channel, and it's available for Flash Video Player 8 and above. Now the frame rate we're keeping as the same as the source. Quality is medium. Data rate, as we said, is 400 kilobits per second. So we're more or less ready to go with this. Let's just check crop and resize, because that video was quite big. Cropping, if you drag one of these arrows down, you can see how the little bounding box around the video is moving up and down there, and you can do that from the side as well by clicking the left and the right sides. That will crop the video. We don't want to crop it, but we do want to resize it, because if you click resize video there, the original is 640 by 480, which is a little bit bigger than we want it. We only want it to be some sort of sting or identifier on the web page, not to take over the entire web page. So let's bring that down to 300. And as you can see, it maintains the aspect ratio, so the height will change in proportion to the width. Now if we go back to the encoding profile, to the first tab, you see that middle section there, it's changed a little bit, it's changed to custom. Although we are using the medium settings, the medium Flash encoding profile, we've adapted a little bit, because we've decided to resize the size of the video. And as you can see there, it will also tell us about the encoder that we've used is available for Flash Player 8 and higher. That's it for encoding, so let's click next and we come up to the skinning box. Now what good is a video without any controls? So you can scrub through it, change the volume, pause it, stop it, start it. So we can add those in here.